Hey everyone, hopefully you guys can see me. Sorry, I've been having issues with the link right now, so I'm just kind of seeing who's all left going, and then we'll get going here. There's a few more people that are still trying to get in, so I will be back and forth. Okay, so if you guys can go ahead and put in the chat if you can hear me okay. I'm just making sure everybody can get in here, so we'll be a little bit delayed. I'll try to get us going as fast as I can. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know why this link all of a sudden went down on me. Of course, the day I need to use it, it's going down. So I'll have a bunch of people asking me to get in. So hopefully, hopefully we can get everybody going. There's about 20 of us in for now. Give me another 5 or so minutes and we can get things going here. Yeah, I'm not sure why half it worked for some people and half of it didn't work for other people. Okay, 2 after. I'll give it a few more minutes just in case, and we'll get moving on. Okay, let's get this going here. Okay, again, I just gotta set this all up. Let me know in the chat if you can start seeing the presentation here. Make sure that's all going good. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea why the link was being weird like that. That was the first time that's ever happened. So hopefully I can get everybody in and we can get going here. So we're about 5 after. We have a lot of ground to cover here. So I'll get started here. Thanks everybody for showing up. This is a first time home buyers webinar I like to put on. I really like to help first time home buyers because it is a big step, and let's be honest, it is one of the most expensive investments that people will make in their life. So I want to make sure this is as easy as possible here. So I am just going to make sure I can see everything. There we go. Okay, So again, thanks everybody for coming out. I'll do my best to keep up. Again, sorry about the link. I don't know why, but for everybody that showed up, I'm going to give you guys a free gift because you guys took time out of your day to be here with me. So for everybody, this is what you're going to see after the webinar is over. Probably give it a day or two. You'll see it in your inbox, but I'm going to give you a free complete guide to buying your home book that I have created. So this is the book. I have a hard copy of it, but this will be in an a PDF file for e-readers and things like that. So you'll see that coming in your inbox. So again, thank you guys for showing up. It has a lot of great information about buying a home and some good tips. Plus, I'm also going to throw in that email a complete buyer's guide as well. So another couple little tips that's in a shorter version. So just for everybody showing up, thank you again for that. You guys are going to see that coming in. So let's kind of get things rolling here. If you guys have any questions at all in the meantime, please throw it in the chat. Let me know. We're going to get to them. And at the very end of this, there is a Q&A section. So if you guys have other questions, if your questions are more personal to you, it'd be hard to get to everybody. So feel free to leave it till a Q&A, or I'm going to put the booking link in here. So feel free, book a call with me at some point. We can discuss it more in depth. Also, this is recorded. So if you guys have to step out for some reason and the link isn't again working or something weird, it is recorded. So just reach out to me. I'll be able to give you the link and you guys can watch it at your own pace. So let me know again in the chat if you guys are feeling any of this, because this is a big purchase. It's one of the biggest purchases in your life, as I mentioned. And there's a lot of uncertainty right now, according to the media and things like that. So let me know if you guys feel any of this. And my goal by the end of this webinar is to either alleviate most of that or at least answer a lot of questions. Oh, what is this? Thanks. I do not know why none of these links are working. Oh, that drives me nuts. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, since these links for some reason just went down on me today, I'm going to put in the chat here. So I want everybody to, I'll do this kind of, here you go. So that is my direct cell number. So everybody on here in the chat, it's in, oh, sorry, that was a direct message. Sorry, I don't know why that, so let's go here. This is my direct cell number. And this, so everybody that's in the chat has access to my cell number. So please take that down. The booking link apparently isn't working. So just to save me from having a bunch of calls when I'm not sure if I'm going to be available or not, because again, the booking link's down, send me a text. Let me know that you want to book a call with me. And I will, you let me know what time you want, and I'll let you know, and we'll be able to set something up that way. So again, I apologize for these not working. I don't know why. I'll have to figure out why these aren't working. But again, that's my number. Reach out to me as we go along. So anyways, we'll get rolling here. So we're going to do a little bit of introductions for the people that are on here. So me and there's Robin Kraft in the background. She's a mortgage specialist. I'll get to her introduction as well. A couple of reviews. These are from some people I helped earlier. I helped sell their houses, get them out of there and get them to something nicer. And that's kind of the things that I want to make sure I do a very good job for everybody. It was really fun to do. I love working with everybody I work with. So you can also check out my my different pages and you'll see other things, but I just want to show a couple of reviews here. So an introduction. I am Andy Goddard. I am a realtor. I started last year with Royal LePage Hallmark. I helped a bunch of buyers and sellers at that point. Then in January of 2022, I switched to eXp Realty. So one of the largest growing brokerages across the world, actually. So it gives me a lot of access to different tools to help my clients a lot better. So I'm so happy that I switched over to them. Again, since I switched over, I've helped a lot of buyers and sellers, a lot of first-time home buyers. I honestly just love working with first-time home buyers. It's a fun experience, and I try to make it fun for everybody that does this with me. So I service Saskatoon and the surrounding areas. I do live in Warman myself with my wife, my son, my daughter, and my 2 dogs. We moved here in 2016, and we've pretty much called this place home. I was born and raised in Saskatchewan. I moved to Alberta for a little bit. So we decided to come back home. So I'm going to put in the chat again. I know this link works because it's a separate link, but this is a Linktree account. It has all my information. So all my business, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, my website that I don't know if these links aren't working. I'm not sure about that, but has my personal Facebook and personal Instagram as well. So you know exactly who I am and who are you working with. I don't hide anything. So that is a little bit about me. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in the background, we have Robin Kraft. So Robin Kraft will be on here. She is a mortgage broker. She's fantastic. If you guys have any financial questions as we go through here, please feel free to throw it in the chat. She's going to be here to answer questions, and we'll get you set up. So Robin Kraft, she's been in the finance industry for over 20 years. She loves mortgages. She's been with the mortgage industry for a while. Was with Mint Mortgages earlier, but again has switched to iSask Mortgages recently. Just again, a bigger, better brokerage just to help serve her clients a lot better. So making the big moves to help clients. Same as me, she services Saskatoon and surrounding areas, anywhere in Saskatchewan. She also, funny thing is, lives in Warman as well with her 2 kids. We live literally a few blocks from each other, so it's kind of nice. We call this area home. So feel free to reach out to Robin when you book a call with me. Apparently using my cell number this time, book a call with me and we can get you in touch with Robin too, and she can answer anything. So that's who we are. Unfortunately, you're stuck looking at me most of the webinar and not Robin, but at least you know who you are talking with. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw it out in the chat again, or else we're going to move on. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of the steps to home ownership. So what the start is, what the finish is, and it's going to be a very, very condensed version of it. Like you can go on forever, but we don't have a lot of time since we kind of had a late start here. So first steps to home ownership is come to this class and learn everything. I honestly wish I had this when I was buying my first house, but unfortunately I didn't, and it was kind of a mess. And I'm going to make sure I don't repeat the mistakes that they made when I was buying my first house. So the first thing I always tell somebody when they want to go buy a house and they say, Andy, I'm looking to buy a house. What should I do? Where do I start? And I always say, do you have pre-approval? Because without approval for a mortgage, we can't purchase a house. So if you don't have that, I always say, Kate, go talk with Robin and she will sort you out and she'll get you through the pre-approval process, which we're going to touch on a little bit. Once that gets done, Robin handles you and says that you are good to go. You have approval for X amount of dollars. You come back to me and says, Andy, I am approved. I would like to start looking for a house. So then we'll sit down and we will discuss what it is you want in a house. Do you want an apartment condo? Do you want a townhouse or a duplex? Do you want an actual house? Do you want a garage? How many bedrooms and bathrooms do you want? What specifics do you want in the house? We sit down and we go through all that to make sure we know what's going to work for you and your family. And then we start the hunt. So I will go on the MLS. I will look to see what all houses are for sale, and I will send you the list. We start looking at some houses that you like and find, get you into all of them, and we'll take a look. And that's the short version. If for some reason we're having issues finding them, then I can jump to off market and look at for sale by owners, maybe rental houses that are looking to sell, things like that, right? But just for now, we're just going to start with the MLS. So let's say we find a place, we go in, we look at it, you love it, you want to put an offer on it. Then we sit down. I either do it over a Zoom meeting, private or a personal Zoom meeting, or at your place, and I will go through all the documents for you, because there is quite a bit of documents to fill out when it comes to buying a home. So I want to sit down with you so you guys know exactly what you're signing and filling out, right? So I will walk you through all the steps, the contracts, everything like that. So once we go through that, we set an offer, we negotiate the price. Once we come to an agreement on a price, both sides are happy, we go into what's called a condition period, which is about 2 weeks roughly. And that way we can put in things like a home inspection, gives Robin time to get the financing finalized, right? Things like that. Just gives us time to make sure the house is perfect and ready to go. Once we go through that process, Robin approves you have mortgage, you're good to go, your financing is good, home inspection looks good, whatever other conditions we throw in there are good. We lift conditions and the house is sold. So then we just wait for possession date. So depending on if it's a vacant house or people are owning it or there's renters in it, that possession date will be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month or two. It all depends. We'd have to deal with that as different houses come up, right? So once you get closer to possession date, about a week before, you meet back with the lawyers, you sign everything over, get the titles transferred over, all that stuff gets set up with the lawyer. Once you're all signed and good to go, then on possession date, I wait for the message from the other realtor saying, yeah, go ahead, keys are released. I will go pick up the keys. I will meet you guys at your home and we'll do a little walkthrough, make sure you guys are happy, take some pictures out front. I probably am going to ask you for a review for me just to help me out. And then I'll give you your keys and you now are the owner of your first home. So that's kind of the steps of home ownership. It is very, very condensed because we don't have a lot of time to go through all of that. But if anybody has, again, any questions on that part, feel free to put in the chat, or again, I guess book a call with me through my cell phone right now, which is, I'll put it back in the chat here. So feel free to text me to set up a time. And yeah, so if anybody has any questions about that, I will, I'll keep moving on to some mistakes to avoid. Also, before we go on, I'm going to say this quite a few times. When it comes to buying a house, you do not have to pay realtor fees and you don't have to pay any fees for Robin. So that's the nice thing. We don't charge anything for our fees. As a realtor, I get paid through the sale of the house, through the selling side. So when you go to sell a house, that's where the realtor fees come in, and that's how we get paid. So you do not have to pay any fees. So that's the nice thing if nobody knew that. And later on, I could definitely break down how the commissions work because sometimes people don't know. And I can also break that down for somebody if you are interested in that. Anyways, if there's no questions, we will continue on. So we're going to get into three things here on the finance side of things. So again, any questions on the financing side of things, throw them in the chat and we will we'll do our best to answer them for you. So okay, so mistake number one is ignoring the first-time home buyers incentive program. Now, let me know in the chat, has anybody ever heard of this before? This was from the government of Canada. It is to help out first-time home buyers. So not everybody's heard of this, so I'm just kind of curious if anybody has. Interesting. It's kind of the first time. Oh, it was the first time I had that many people actually know about it. So if you've heard of it, do you know a lot about how it works? Because I'm going to dive into that. So basically, the government of Canada has used about $1.25 billion worth of money to help make home ownership more affordable. So what they do, it's a shared equity mortgage. So I'll try and explain this better if nobody understood how it works. So basically, the government of Canada is putting an investment into your home. They want to invest their money into you to see their money grow. So they're going to invest both in the upside and the downside of the property value of your home. The nice thing about this money they give you, it's not interest bearing. There's no regular payments on it to make, and you can repay it at any time without a prepayment penalty. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you an additional 5% of a down payment. When you buy a house, you have to have a minimum 5% down payment. But what they're going to do is they're going to give you an additional 5% down, and I'm going to explain why that's beneficial in a bit. So who can use this? So basically, if you're a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, even non-permanent residents who are legally allowed to work in Canada can be applying for this. At least one homeowner must be a first-time home buyer. So if you and your spouse are going in, as long as one of you have never owned a home before, you can qualify for this. Same thing, if you and your spouse are going into this, the combined qualified income of both of you cannot exceed $120,000, because if you make over $120,000, then the government of Canada feels you don't need their help. So you got to watch for that kind of things. The combined insured mortgage and incentive amount can exceed 4 times the total qualified annual income. And the maximum down payment that they're going to attribute to you cannot exceed 19.9%. because they don't want you to not have, they don't want to help you not pay insurance premiums. So I'll get into that, but basically, if you're going to put 15% down, they're only going to give you 14.9% because they don't want you to go over that 20%. And I'll explain a little bit of that right away here. Just before we get back into this, I want to mention another program that's also for first-time home buyers is you can use RRSPs. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you have RRSPs, you are eligible to take up to $35,000 out of it per person using this first-time home buyer plan. So they're not an exclusive plan. If you want to use both this and the incentive program, you are allowed to use both of these. They both define as a first-time home buyer the same way. So the difference between this and the other one is this RSP ones have to be paid back about 2 years once you've used it. So the first 2 years you have to start paying it back, but they can be paid in installments. So that's a bit of a difference there. You can pay little chunks off, but as long as you start paying it back within the first 2 years, you can do that. Plus the RSPs also have to be in your account for 90 days. Anything less than 90 days, you can't use it. So if anybody has any questions on the RSPs, again, you can set up a call with me and we can definitely answer more of that, but that is an option for a down payment. So back to that first time home buyer incentive. So how do you pay it off? How does it work? So you can pay it off in 3 different ways. When you sell the home, you use the proceeds of the home that can go towards paying it off. Anytime in the first 25 years, either by way of a lump sum, or you can refinance your mortgage and pay it off that way. Or at the end of your mortgage term, you can pay it off by a lump sum or take out a small equity loan. So those are the 3 ways to pay this back. And so how does it work for a payoff? So an example of this, I like to use $400,000 because it's easy math. So 5% of $400,000 is $20,000. That's 5%. So let's say that's what they're going to give you is $20,000. So sorry, somebody was just, one of the webinar things is not working here. Sorry, hang on one second. There we go. Okay, so sorry, back to this. So let's say in 5 years, your home raises in value to $500,000. So they're going to want you to pay back $25,000 because they want 5% back of the value of your home. That's how the investment part works, right? So they're investing in your house to see their money grow. Now, on the other side of that, they want to see, sorry, if your home value drops at 300,000, then they're going to want to see 15,000 paid back to them. So now they're going to lose money, right? So if your home value drops below what you paid for it, they're going to lose money. See, this is how it's an investment in the government of Canada's part. So they're hoping to see your value of your home grow. I'm hoping to see the value of your home grow, right? We all want to see that. So you build some really strong equity, but that's just something to watch out for. So they're going to give you $20,000 today, and tomorrow it's worth $25,000. They're going to want to see that back. So just some things to watch for that. So now there might be people asking, why is this a benefit? So this is where the benefit lies, and I'll explain a little bit here. So let's just say an example, Bonnie buyer wants to buy a new home, $400,000 again, her minimum down payment has to be $20,000. That's the minimum. So she's going to have to borrow $380,000 from the bank. Now, the upside to this, the government of Canada is going to give you an additional $20,000. So now you have a $40,000 down payment. So now you're only going to have to borrow $360,000. So now right off the bat, you're going to be borrowing less money. So, and when we talked earlier about those mortgage premiums, when you put 5% down payment down, it's the minimum that you get. That's a minimum that you can put down. So that's going to be, the insurance premium is going to be an all-time high at that point. The more you put down, the more you put down, the less the premiums are going to be. So you put 10% down, they drop drastically. 15% down, way more down. And then once you get to 20%, they're going to drop even more, or pretty much to zero, actually. Once you get 20%, you have to pay insurance premiums. So this is where the benefit lies. They're going to give you money for a down payment. You're going to borrow less money from the bank. You're also going to pay less in insurance premiums. So does that make sense to anybody? Did I lose anybody on that? Because I think I kind of messed, something was happening with the webinar, so I kind of lost track for a second. Does that make sense? You're going to borrow less from the bank and you're going to pay less in insurance premiums. That's where the benefit lies. This here is just to help the first few years to make the payments on it, to get settled, to build equity, and then you're able to pay it back eventually, those 3 ways that we talked about. That's pretty much it with the incentive part. Does anybody have any questions on that? Again, I will put it in here. I apologize again for this webinar. That's my number again, direct number. If anybody wants to book a call with me again, please just text me and let me know that you want to book a time with me, because the booking link is not working for some weird reason. But yeah, they're trying to invest money into you to make money. The government's out to make money. So, but that's where the benefit lies. So yeah, if we don't have any questions, we're going to roll on to mistake number 2 is not getting a pre-approval. Now, it might be, well, that's a good one. Rob might be able to answer that one for you. So does anybody know the difference between a pre-approval and actual mortgage approval? It's kind of set in the name there anyways, but it's kind of 2 separate things. So a pre-approval is basically they're just going to take everything they know and give you a number that the maximum amount that you're able to borrow or to be approved for, I should say. So then, yeah, I don't know why it's a privacy thing. I don't know why that all of a sudden came up, and I'm not sure. So there's nothing wrong with the links. They're not, it's not a dangerous link. It's been working for the last while, so I'm not sure why they don't work anymore. That's something I got to figure out, and it's really unfortunate that happened now. So yeah, it'll say if it says there's a risk on the website and it's dangerous, trust me, it's not. It's just an issue with the domain right now. They were having issues today. I know they messaged me on it. So yes, it's not there's no issues with it. It's just a weird security thing that went on. So there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, if you guys are able to go through and ask you to continue, just please continue. I'm not sure why that's not working, but anyways, we'll continue, and we'll go with this pre-approval process. So process of pre-approval, there's 3 things there's 3 main things that they're going to look for. So again, everybody is different. Everybody's different from the next person. So nothing's really black and white when it comes to mortgage approval. So if this worked for one person, that same thing wouldn't work for another person in a sense, right? So this is just kind of a guideline. So the first thing they're going to look at is credit, right? They're going to want to see at least 620 to 650 for credit. And then they're going to also look at what kind of debt you have along with that. Like, do you have a ton of payments on like 100 different vehicles you own? Like, do you have any missing payments? Do you have a bunch of debt racked up? Do you have, I guess, collectors coming at you, right? They're going to look at all that to make sure your credit's good. Once they get that figured out, they're going to want to see income. So they're going to want to look at least 2 years, 2 years of income statements. So tax returns, right? They're going to want to see 2 years of that to see what you make and what you're eligible for. If you have a salary position, that's even better, because then your employer can give us a letter stating that this is your salary, this is what you're going to be paid every month or every year, right? So they can use that. So hourly doesn't count as salary because hourly fluctuates too much. So if you work an 8-hour shift or 6-hour shift, a 10-hour shift, take time off here, add time, right? It fluctuates too much to really make an exact amount. So that's why they need 2 years worth of income statements. And so once they review that, they're going to see how much you make and how much you're able to afford with your debt and your credit. Also, the third thing they're going to look for, which is very important, is a down payment. So if you, let's say with the first 2, you're approved for, let's say $500,000, but you only have $15,000 saved up, you're only going to be approved for $300,000 because $15,000 is 5% of $300,000. So you're only approved to the max amount you have for down payment. So something like that, you got to watch for. So they're going to take all 3 of those things, and that's going to combine to give you mortgage approval. Make sure you're all good that way and tell us how much you are approved for. So then we're going to, so again, just a recap, they're going to review your income, your credit, and your down payment source. But the nice thing about these is they're reliable. So it tells us how much you have, how much you're able to afford, and it tells you the max that we can go shopping with. So what it saves you is it's going to let us shop with confidence, because honestly, if we go look at $500,000 houses and find out that you're only approved for $300,000, it's pretty hard hit to take, because honestly, the difference between a $500,000 house and a $300,000 house is pretty substantial. And we don't want anything to happen. We don't want it to be discouraging or disheartening. We want this to be a fun experience. So let's get this pre-approval first, and let's make sure that we know exactly the price point that we can shop in and just avoid all of that. Right. So the one other thing I've been asked about is is co-signer. So some people might not have the best credit, but a co-signer can help them out with that. The only downside to the co-signer is there is a risk to the co-signer. So who can be a co-signer? Well, any family member can be a co-signer for you. The risk is if you don't make your payments, they're going to come after the co-signer, right? And also if they want to use this first-time home buyer plan, if they use it with you, they no longer get to use it. So there's two risks for them right there. So if you're planning on using a co-signer, we'd like to sit down and just explain to everybody the risks that involves with it, but they are able to help you. So as long as this co-signer of yours lives in Canada, has an income coming in, and can also be approved for a mortgage, then yes, they are able to be a co-signer for you. As if you want to use a first-time home buyers incentive program with a co-signer, you can do that. You just have to make sure your salary or how much you make in a year plus your co-signers doesn't exceed that $120,000. Just so some things to watch out for. So they are committed to being a co-signer for you for as long as you aren't able to apply for a mortgage on your own. But once you're able to, then we can discuss how to get them off your title. So basically the extra cost with a co-signer is a couple $100 for admin fees and lawyer fees just to get their name off of your title of your home. And then you're free to go that way. So that's kind of it with co-signers. And that's kind of it with the pre-approval process. Now, I do want to touch a little bit about down payments because I have been asked a lot about it. So I know there is 3 to 4 ways to get a down payment, and these are the most common ways. So one would be out of your own savings. You have your own savings saved up. That's a down payment. Number 2 is using the RSP program I talked about earlier. And number 3 is a gift from the bank of mom and dad or immediate family member. So you can ask somebody for the money for a down payment. If you decide you want to pay it back to them, you can, but that is just between you and whoever gave you that gift. If you go to a lender and say, hey, I'm borrowing some money from mom and dad to fund me this down payment, they're going to take that as you're borrowing more money and it's going to go against your lending power. So it has to be a gift, but as long as you pay it back to them, however you guys worked it out yourselves, that's fine. But that is the third way. The fourth way is kind of more inclusive. It's if you're part of the Métis Society of Canada, they're giving up to $15,000 for a down payment. You just have to be approved for a mortgage, and then they would approve you for their side. It would just work hand in hand, but that's only if you're part of the Métis Society of Canada. So does anybody have, I see Robin's been answering some questions, but does anybody have any questions on the pre-approval process and how mortgage approval works? Okay, so we're going to go to the last kind of financial side mistake, if you want to call it a mistake. So that's using your bank. So there's nothing wrong with going to your bank because everybody has a bank they use for their everyday funds. You know, I use RBC personally myself, but everybody has a place where their checkings and savings accounts and all that is. So there's nothing wrong. You can always go to your bank because they do have in-house mortgage brokers and they could tell you what they would give you for a rate, but I would honestly just bring it to Robin and say, this is what they offer me. Can you match that or beat it? And we go from there. But I'll explain why a mortgage broker is better than your bank in a little bit here. But I want to give you a couple scenarios to watch out for here. So 2 stories, kind of both the same. This lady on the left, she owned her own business. And when COVID hit in 2020, when it really hit and nobody had a clue what was going on, her business took a massive hit. So pretty much to the point she had to shut it down. She had a basement suite in her house that she rented out to a tenant, but same thing, they got spooked and decided to move out and move in with family. She also had an Airbnb room rented upstairs for travelers, but because nobody was traveling, that also took a hit. So in a very short amount of time, she lost her main source of income with her business, her downstairs rental income, and her Airbnb rental income. So that was a massive hit for her to take in one shot. So she felt she had no way to get out of debt but to sell her house. She knew how much it cost to sell her house through realtor fees and things like that. But what she didn't know is that there was a $30,000 pre-payout penalty on top of that. So that is a very hard hit. So the couple on the right, that family, same kind of idea in a sense. They're from Edmonton and they are always involved in nonprofit organizations in Haiti because that's where they're from. When the earthquakes in Haiti hit quite a few years ago, they were approached and asked to run an orphanage down there to help rebuild. So they decided they were going to sell their house and use the proceeds of the sale of the house to fund them to live there for a few years. But they didn't realize the same thing. There was a $17,000 pre-payout penalty that they got hit with. So when you are relying on the proceeds of the sale of your home to fund something or to help you out, even if it's for your next sale, right? They want to make sure that that is not going to hit you very hard. So that's something that we can help you out with. Because Robin's able to shop around, she can shop with lenders and we can figure out, she can sit one-on-one with you, figure out what the penalties would be. We would look to have little to zero payout penalties. We can't guarantee zero. Unfortunately, we'd love to guarantee everybody has zero payout penalties, but we're going to try our hardest to get you a low one, because honestly, things change, right? And statistically speaking, a lot of first-time home buyers don't stay in the first house they buy because things change, families grow, you grow out of it, or you want something different, lifestyle change, maybe your job change, maybe you want to move somewhere else, right? There's so many reasons why you'd want to get out of your mortgage early. And so we want to make sure that's an easy transition for you, right? To have no, zero to little payout penalties to get out of this. So it's something that we can watch out for you. Also, we're going to touch base on what the difference between a mortgage broker and using your bank is. But I just want you guys to know we again work for you. We have your best interests. That's what we do for you. So we want to make sure you guys are covered. So again, I'm going to put my number. I know I'll put it in here because it does work as long as you get past that security issue. So here's my booking link. Plus I'm also going to, again, put my cell number. If the booking link for some reason is not working for you, use my direct cell number to book a call with me. Again, apologies for that. Not sure what's going on. I'll have to fix that. But anyways, let's go to the difference between a mortgage broker and a bank. So Robin, my mortgage broker, she's fantastic, as I'm going to mention a lot of the time. She has access to over 30 different lenders' products. So she can shop around for some very good deals for you. She works the same hours as me. Like, we work stupid hours, right? It is what it is. That's what we've decided to do, right? So if it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night and there's a pressing question you have, you can get a hold of us at any time. She's going to offer you the best mortgage rate upfront right off the bat. We work for, mortgage brokers work for you as we do, and their service is free. So that's something to know. Also, like I mentioned, you can call or text anytime with any questions. We will answer them as soon as we can. The difference between that and a bank, so a bank is restricted to their in-house products. So RBC, TD, Royal, or Scotiabank, they all have their own in-house products, right? So they're going to try and sell you that. They work normal bank hours, right? So if it's after whatever, I don't know, 6 o'clock at night, good luck getting a hold of them. They're going to offer you their bank posted rates. So sometimes you might need to negotiate a better rate, and some people just don't like negotiating, right? So that's where Robin's going to give you that best offer up front. They're more like they're a personal broker for the bank. So they're going to work for technically the best interests of their employer to make sure they sell their product. Where again, we work for you and we make sure you're covered in the best interest of you. And they're also harder to get a hold of. So let's say sometimes if it's on a weekend and you need something to know now, again, might be hard pressed to get a hold of them. Whereas we can get a hold of each other anytime. So does anybody have any questions about using your bank? I see some people have, and again, thank you so much, Robin, for that, for helping me out. So she's great at answering this, but if anybody has any questions, again, yeah, keep throwing them out there. Robin will do her best to answer these for the finance side of things. And yeah, this is the last of it for the finance side of things, and we get more of the real estate side of things. So if you have any financing questions, throw them out there and we'll try to answer them. Okay, so let's what are we doing for time? Okay, so we're getting a little there. So I don't touch a lot on new builds just because, again, statistically speaking, most first-time home buyers do not buy a brand new build house. They typically go for resale houses, right? So I don't touch a lot on this, but I feel I should mention this because it does happen from time to time. So some people, sometimes they think they can, it's okay to go to a builder without a realtor, but it's kind of the same thing as going to a bank versus a mortgage broker, right? The builders are trying to sell their product and their product alone, so they're going to try and push that on you. Whereas if you bring me along with you, I'm still able to show you a whole bunch of different builders options, right? From builder A, from builder B, from builder C, right? I can also tell you who the good and bad builders are. I can't put any names in here because this is recorded and I don't need that coming back to me later on. So the other thing is, some people ask me, is it cheaper to go directly to a builder, maybe get a better deal? And the answer is really no. It's the same price, because they know that realtors sell their product. So they build kind of our fees already into their purchase price, right? So just some things to think about there. What you gain from that is a lot of knowledge, because when you go there, chances are when you're getting a new build, the basement's not finished and the garage isn't finished, right? There's a bunch of packages they're going to sell you. So they're going to sell you basement packages, garage packages, appliance packages. So different level of appliances, right? From your base model to your top end appliances, right? Even countertops, flooring, cabinets, handles for your cabinets, doors, door handles, right? There's so many different options. So you want to bring me along so we can look at those options, see what the best prices are going to be. And if you're able, like if you're handy and able to do things on your own, then we can see about getting even cheaper by doing it yourself and getting different contractors, because realtors we have a ton of contacts from every kind of contractor you can think of. We have contacts that are really good. So things like that to think about when it comes to new builds. Just make sure there's also other things that you got to watch out for with new builders with some contracts. I have heard of a few that say that affects the price of lumber will affect the purchase price. So let's say we offer it on $500,000. I can throw in in the contract like a appliance package, see if we can negotiate that, right? But if there's something in the contract that could say, purchase price to be affected by material and lumber prices. So if the lumber prices go up, material prices go up, then your purchase price goes up. So we want to look at those contracts to make sure that that isn't in there, because that could be a hard hit if you don't realize that's going to go up and you don't know about that. So just some things to think about when it comes to new builds. So that's a good question about the new build. So I've had that actually question a lot about ages of homes, right? And sometimes a really old home can scare some people, right? But honestly, I've sold homes and bought homes for people that are in so many different ranges. In January, I bought a home for a fellow. It was built in 1917. But again, I'm going to touch on this right away so you'll know. But a home inspection goes in there and we'll know everything about that house. So it doesn't matter if it was built in 1905 or 2021, right? It's as long as we do the maintenance on it and things are good, right? Some of them older houses are built so strong that there's no issues. And the most issues I find with the older homes is maybe the updates, right? Maybe you got to update the furnace and the hot water heater, or the windows or the shingles, right? That's mostly it. But like as major issues, no, it really doesn't affect a whole lot of what the age of the home is, right? It all depends on how well it was taken care of. And yeah, the home inspection, yeah, I'll get to that. That's my next topic I was going to talk about, but yeah, inspections cost for a detached home is around $400 to $500. My guy does it for $425. So I'll just jump to that right now. Anyways, so home inspection, yeah, is $425 is what my guy charges per detached home. So for a townhouse, I think he's around the $375. And for an apartment style condo, he's almost like $275. So it varies on the size of the house, what type of house it is. But it's when you're spending, let's say $300,000, $400, $500 is a very, very small investment to one of your biggest investments you're going to make. And this book is insane of what they show you in the house. Like these guys do not, most good home inspectors do not miss a thing. So when we go and look at houses, and I'm showing you around the houses, as we're looking at the houses, I'm taking a good look around. There's things that most people might avoid because you're just looking to see how the house looks, what's the rooms like. But I'm looking at everything from the ceilings to the walls, the flooring, make sure things aren't looking weird, there's no water spots anywhere. But we can only see things with a naked eye, right? So these guys can go in, they have technology that they can see through walls with technology, so they can see if any insulation's missing, if there's any water damage in the walls, any moisture. They'll go up in the attic, make sure the attic's good. There is literally nothing these guys miss. It is insane. So for the $500, $400 you're going to spend, it is so worth it because it'll tell you every little thing they find and little tips to maintain your home so it lasts a lot longer, what you can do to keep it going better, and what major things need to be kind of looked at right away. So the nice thing about that is we can use it in negotiations. I did mention earlier that home inspections would be part of a condition. So if you're not satisfied with a home inspection, you can walk away from the deal, right? You have to be satisfied with your conditions in order to lift conditions to buy the home. If you're not satisfied, we don't buy the home, we go check the next one. So I'll give you a couple examples on how it works. So literally the most recent home I just bought for a first-time home buyer, we did a home inspection. This house was built in 1959, I want to say. Very, very solid four-level house. It was very well maintained. Three major issues, not really major. 2 out of 3 were major issues that we wanted fixed. So basically what my home inspector found was the exhaust vent from the bathroom on the upstairs vents to the roof vent and out that way. But when he got into the attic, he noticed that the pipe was just a normal ductwork pipe. So it wasn't insulated and it wasn't really connected to the roof vent very well. So basically the moisture from your bathroom was getting sucked out and pushed into the attic. So that is very dangerous when it comes to moisture and mold buildup. So we addressed that right away. There was a breaker in the electrical panel for the dryer. So when a dryer, I believe don't quote me because I'm not an electrician. I just go from what the home inspectors tell me. If I can remember it correctly, I believe it was either 2 15-amp breakers to make a 30-amp breaker. And there should be a pole in that breaker so that if it trips, the breaker, they both trip, but they didn't have that. So only one half of the breaker would trip. So if for some reason your dryer had an issue and it tripped half of it, your dryer is now running on half power, which is very dangerous. So we had that addressed as well. So, and then the other thing was a little bit smaller, but because they were bringing their own washer and dryer with them when they bought this house, the hot water valve to the washing machine was seized open, and we just wanted that fixed so they could switch out the washer and dryer with no issues. So basically, I took that back to the seller's agent for a contract situation, and I said, we want these 3 things addressed. Are your sellers willing to fix it, or do we have to negotiate maybe a better price? Things like that, right? So they said, you know what, I'll take it to my seller. She came back to me and says, yeah, we are prepared to fix these for you. So actually a few days ago, she just sent me pictures and everything was fixed. The ductwork had insulation and connected better to the roof. The breaker was fixed to the correct breaker, and the hot water valve was completely redone. And so everything worked. I sent the pictures off to my home inspector. He said, yep, those are good to go. And I file those away so that when it goes, and I sent it to the lawyer too, to make sure he has it. So he has an idea of what's going on as well. So that's kind of an example of how we can do it. So let's say the seller just didn't want to fix it, because I've had that before. Maybe they don't live in the house anymore. They live out of province now and they're just trying to get rid of it. So what'll happen is they'll just say, you know what, I'm not there. I'm not going to take care of it. So we'll take a little bit off the purchase price. Let's just say it's going to be $2,000 to fix most of that. We'll take $2,000 off the purchase price, and you can, and there you go. So there's some things we can do. If it's major, and it's like so much issues with it, then we just walk away from it, right? But we can get most of this stuff. Now we can't go through this whole list that the home inspector gives us and says, yeah, we want all that fixed. There's a bit of give and take, right? But we want to address the ones that are going to affect you when you move in and live in it that day. So those were some things that were going to be affected. The other things are mostly just for you to maintain as you live in the house, right? So, but it's not it's not mandatory to have a home inspection, but as we've mentioned before, it's highly recommended. I don't feel comfortable buying a house without a home inspection because you never know what you're going to miss. So I seen a question up here about it. I just got to scroll back a bit. So I seen there was a question about right there. Yeah. So is there any penalties if you walk away? So how this works is when we go to write an offer, basically we're going to put a deposit in too. So there's a deposit that goes in. It'll go into my trust account, like, sorry, not mine, but eXp Realties, who I'm with, their trust account. So it's with us, not them, not the sellers. It's with us. So basically the deposit is there to show that you want this. So the only time your deposit would be affected is if once we lift conditions and things fall through, they would want their deposit, but there is no penalty to walk away from a home inspection. That's why it's a condition. So let's just say the home inspection is a condition, financing is a condition, and we go to this home inspection and you just feel there is just way too much major issues and you just don't like it and you just think you want to go look for something else that's better. We can go back and say, hey, the home inspection came back. They really, don't want to deal with all of this. We're out. Sorry about that, and walk away. It is part of the conditions. You are not satisfied, we walk away. There's no penalties for that. Some of them, the other side might get a little mad about it and try to fix it, which it happens. But if you're not satisfied, I'm not putting you into a house that is not safe, right? Or not up to your standards, right? Again, there's some give and take to it. So we can't, if there's a cracked window and they're not willing to fix it, it'd be hard to, you can walk away from it, but it has to be pretty major, really, but it is entirely up to you. If if you're just not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it, and we can go. And I actually have a story for you guys that happened just recently. I'll discuss it with you guys in a bit, but just to show you how conditions work and how it can get you out of things with no repercussion. But as long as we build it into a condition in the contract, we're able to get out of those and find you something else if you're not satisfied with it. So does anybody else have any questions on home inspections? I'll also give you just a little example of mine. I'll just see, we are running a bit tight on time. But anyways, with mine, it was really quick. I got a home inspection done in our house. Our upstairs bathroom shower was leaking. It was leaking into our main floor bathroom. We wouldn't have noticed that without a home inspector to see that moisture. It was there was no damage at all. Just a little bit of water was getting in there. So we fixed it with a little bit of caulking once we moved in, and it solved it. If I didn't have that home inspection, that would have caused so much water damage in my house that I don't even know how much that would have cost me to fix. So again, not mandatory, but very strongly recommended. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, again, here, I'll put it in the chat again. Plus booking link again, the booking link's fine, I guess, and my number. So book a call, we can discuss that more, but I got to move on to the last part just because we're running a little bit tight on time here. So the last one is more for condos. So actually there's quite a bit of condos coming out, apartment style condos, townhouse condos, and even some detached homes these days are being part of a condo corporation. So a lot of things, if it's got a condo on it, like a condo corporation, this is mandatory in the contract. We don't, it's not optional. We're going to get it no matter what. The only thing that's optional is whether or not you get your lawyer to look at it. But same as a home inspection, strongly recommend you send it to a lawyer. I kind of know what's in these things, but I can't give you advice on it because I'm not qualified to say it, right? I don't know enough about it. So a lawyer needs to look at that. So what I'll do is we'll figure out who you're going to be using as a lawyer, and I'll just get your confirmation. And once we get that from the sellers, I will send it to you and to the lawyer, and he'll be able to review it and let you know. But it's kind of like a home inspection. It has so much information on the condo. It's crazy. So I can't explain some things that are in it, right? So I know what's in it, so you have an idea of what's in it. The first major thing is what's called a reserve fund. So this shows you how much money that the condo corporation has built up in case of things that need to be fixed. So let's say for detail, or for a little example, and this is a broad example, but let's just say a 20 unit condo needs to fix its roof. The roof costs $100,000 to fix. They don't have any money in a reserve fund, so they're going to come to each condo individual owner and ask for $5,000. So every unit's going to be having to pay $5,000 to fix the roof. That is a very extreme example, but it's just things to look for. So maybe the condo we're going to go look at, the reserve fund is low, something needs to be fixed, and they're going to come with a cash call is what it's called. So they're going to tell every unit or owner that, hey, we need money from you to fix this because we don't have quite enough money in the reserve fund. So the lawyer is going to look at the reserve fund. They're going to look to see how much is in there, what needs to be fixed, what has been fixed, and if there's enough money there, and if it's sufficient enough. So they're going to let you know about that. It'll tell you the bylaws that are in there. So what you can and can't do in the common areas, what you can't do in your own unit, which would more or less be for like renovations, right? And I'll get to that in a little bit. It'll tell you everything about it, like pretty much from the day the condo was built, it'll tell you everything about it, all the meetings that they had, things like that. So it is a very detailed document, very large. Some things also to watch out for that we've noticed in a few condos is they have what's called a move-in, move-out fee. And that, so one was like $200 or $100 each time. So if you move in, it's $100, and when you go to move out, it's $100. Another one I bought was $250, and that covered both move in and move out. So just things to look for. They'll have kind of those things in there. Some do, some don't. Every condo is different, right? They're even the same condo corporation that owns this condo and a different condo, they both could have their own different set of bylaws and things like that. So it's very, very recommended to look through this to see what's going on with it. So an example that I did with a condo is we bought this one. We were looking at it before we purchased it. Sorry, we were looking at it, and he hates carpet. So in the condo itself, it had laminate except for the bedroom. So he wanted to rip that out and put laminate down. We noticed in the Schedule C, the estoppel package, that the bylaw stated you are not allowed to put laminate flooring down as of X amount of date, right? So I think it was like a few years prior to that, they made a bylaw saying you can't renovate your flooring with hardwood or laminate, it has to be carpet. Basically what happened is that people ripped out all the carpet in these condo building or the units. And now that the laminate down, it made it louder when people were walking. And so the people complained. So they brought a bylaw in saying you can't have laminate or hardwood in your main living area. So those are things to look for. We discussed it and he was still fine with it. He liked the condo, really, really enjoyed it. So he was willing to work with that, but at least he had that idea, right? He knew what he could and couldn't do, right? It would be way worse if he ripped out that carpet, go to put laminate down, find out that he can't do it, and then he gets charged for like he gets a disciplinary charge on him, and then he's got to rip that back out and put carpet down, right? So things like that to watch out for. The other nice thing though is we looked at the balcony on there, and the balcony was in really rough shape. So it looked like the flooring was starting to rot through, the iron for the railing was starting to rust away. So we looked in the Schedule C as well, and it says, yes, we are aware of that, and we are going to fix them. So we're going to start with the worst ones and go all the way down to they are all replaced and brand new. And we do have enough money in the reserve fund, so no cash call to you guys. So it's things like that to look for. So that's why this, along with a home inspection, if you're going with a condo, is very, very important. Okay, it needs to go to the lawyer so they can see and make sure you're covered. Because the last thing we need is you to move in and all of a sudden you need a cash call because they can't afford to fix something, right? So that's why this is very important to save you money in the long run. So as I mentioned, I'll tell you a little story that just happened with a condo that I was just about to purchase for this couple that I'm working with. We went to buy, we put an offer into this condo, didn't really notice it. I can't tell you the name of it because again, legal things, but there's a condo we went to look for. And once we put the offer in on it, they were happy with it. Then they found a review online that stated that the one side of the building was starting to collapse on itself because of construction that was working next to it. They were building another high rise beside it, and there was a massive crack down there. They were worried about that. So they started looking into it, talking to some people about it. And what happened was they got scared about it. They were like, we don't feel comfortable with it. We're not sure if the structure is really affected or not. The sellers assured me that it was fine, but they were just really scared about that. They had structural engineers say that they should be worried about that. So they ended up backing out. And so the nice thing about that is because we stated a home inspection there, that in a sense counted as a home inspection. We went to the condo, we looked at it, we inspected it, we went and took it to some structural engineers and they said they should probably be worried about that. So we were able to walk away from the deal. And we're still looking to find something better, but that's just some things that we can do. So that's, if you aren't comfortable with something after we put an offer in and we find something out, we can get out of it to get you something else. As long like it, if you're not comfortable with it, then we can figure that out after. But so anyways, we are pretty much right at time here for what I have for this thing. So basically now we are into the last little bit. So this would be more or less the Q&A session for anybody. So hopefully I gave you a lot of information that was helpful. Again, I seriously apologize for the link issue. I don't know what was wrong with that. I'm going to throw in here again, there's the booking link and my personal number. So if for some reason you can't deal with this booking link for some reason, text me, set up a time with me. Love to help you. But that kind of takes care of it. So hopefully that was enlightening for some people and a lot of helpful tips. If you guys have any questions, keep throwing them out. I'll stick around for a little bit more to answer some questions. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys showing up too. I really thank you for that. Again, don't forget, after this, you guys will be getting a copy of my book, the free ebook. So it'll be good for reading on your phone, your laptop, and one of those tablet readers if you have one. And the buyer's guide will be coming to you guys again as a thanks. So if you haven't yet, book a call with us. If you have any more questions, there's the booking link, my number. That number that has been texting you with updates and things like that, that is from the campaign. I don't see the replies to that unless I log into the system and look to see if anybody's messaged it. So if I'm out, not even on my computer, right, I won't see that. So this is my personal number. Please, if you ever need to get a hold of me, this is the best way, because then I'll see it at any time, right? So I'll put it in again, best way to reach me. I will also throw all this in here too as well. Sorry, I will go here. So this is everything again, my booking link, my email address, my direct cell phone number, and my link tree again to all my information. So there's easy ways to get a hold of me. Feel free. I look forward to working with you guys if we're able to do things. So I'm just going to scroll back. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did miss a question that somebody asked about, please put it back in. I'll see if I can answer any that I missed. Man, Robin, you have been busy. Now I got lost. So sorry, yes, if I missed any of your guys' questions from going through my whole spiel, if I didn't answer it, put it in here again. I'll do my best to answer it. But yeah, again, I really enjoy these. I really enjoy helping first-time homebuyers. I really hope that we're able to work with you guys. Really hope that we answered a lot of questions for you, because I know this is a huge process, especially when it comes to the whole home buying and contract process. The contract and negotiation and condition period is the big one, right? But I'm always 100% constantly in contact with you. If the sellers message me, like the seller's agent messaging me with something, it instantly gets to you too. I don't hold any secrets back. I make sure you guys are well informed of what's going on throughout the entire process. So again, throw some more questions out. I'm here for a little bit, and we'll keep going. But yeah. And again, I apologize for the links. I don't know why it wasn't working. Yes, I'm glad I was helpful for you guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys coming out. And yes, if you guys want to know more, again, I apologize for the booking link. I don't, yes, there is going to be a recorded recording of this. Once we're done, it'll be uploaded. I'll upload it to, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why it wasn't working. I apologize. So there is a recording of this. This will be recorded. I'll also put in, I know on the link tree, there is access to my YouTube page, and I do have prior ones posted from there. So one from like February, March, and April, they're on there if you want to watch those. And they're the same thing. They're just from previous. This one, when it's done, will be uploaded, and I can reach out to me if you want it. I can send you the link to this one that we did, and I can send you the video for this if you want to watch and make up what you weren't able to for some reason get into. So again, I apologize for that. I don't know why and what happened. So if also there is, I do more of these, right? So every month I host one of these. So if for some reason it was hard to see, if you want to jump into the next one, I'll definitely reach out to me and I can get you hooked up for the next one we do. And I'll make sure all that stuff is working. So yeah, feel free to book a call. Hopefully it works for you. If not, again, my direct line, feel free to call or text me. Prefer text me, please, because that way I can set you guys up for the right time and make sure that I can be available for you so we can discuss what you need. And yeah, if you need to get hooked up with Robin, we'll definitely hook you up with Robin and we can see what you are for pre-approval and go from there. I can do this. Yeah, and that's my email and everything like that. So yeah, just message me if you want a copy of the recorded part and I'll be able to get it to you. So let's see. Still about 13 or so of us on here. So if you guys are still like, feel free to throw anything out there you need. Be happy to answer anything for you guys while we're still here. We have a little bit of time left and we go from there. For sure. Yeah. Just, yeah, reach out to me because we're in this. I won't be able to follow exactly who, but just reach out to me, either text me or send me an email. Just let me know that you're interested in the recording. I'll make sure to send it to you and then we can go from there. I'll make sure I set this webinar back up, figure out what's wrong with it so the links all work. And yeah, I appreciate that. So hopefully I look forward to doing business with some of you that are wanting to do this. Make sure it's a fun experience for everybody. And yeah, some people that are messaging on here, it only just says if it's like an iPhone or something. So I don't have a name. So I don't know who it is that's asking for things. So I know you'll have to just message me directly, let me know. But yes, thank you, please. Yeah, text me and I know who you are and I can get you that link for you and then we go from there. Great. Well, for the people that did book a call with me, again, I appreciate it. I look forward to talking with you guys and helping you out further. If anything, look for my book. Hopefully I don't miss anybody when it comes to that point. I'll make sure to try and get it out within either tomorrow or the next day, get you guys the book and the buyer's guide, and we'll go from there. So if there's no questions at all anymore, I will end this and just have everybody enjoy a great night, great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather we're having, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. So anyways, enjoy everybody. I'll just look for your email. It'll be in your guys' email addresses that you signed up to the webinar with. If you want me to send it to a different email, reach out to me and I'll send it to a different one. But whatever email you guys signed up with, that's where the book and the buyer's guide is going to go. So watch for that in the next day or two, and you should be able to see it. If for some reason you aren't seeing it, check your spam folder, your junk folder. Again, if you don't see it, let me know and I'll make sure to try and send it to you again. But okay, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.